Hello friends and welcome to my channel. In today's video we have a story about an amazing and caring dog and about neighbors who demanded to put him down because of their little daughter. Subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy this crazy stories. Little bit of exposition. I work for a local paintball and airsoft field as a referee and at their sales and rental booth. We have a couple events every weekend. Sundays are always a lot of fun. We host walk-ons and the people who come are usually experienced, polite, and sportsmanlike. But on Saturdays, the freaking birthday parties. Some of them are okay, mostly because kids just hide behind a wall for the whole game. Most times, however, it's absolutely miserable. I have a few stories like this, but here's one of them. This happened a few years ago. EP. Entitled Parent. K. EP's kid, 11 at the time. F. Friend, one of my coworkers. K forgets to put his barrel cover on when he enters the rest area. I run up to him, grab his marker, paintball gun, and place the plastic sock over the muzzle, as I was trained to do. Me. Hey, you gotta put this on when you come into this area, buddy. K. Oh okay, I understand. I'm sorry. Me. No worries bro, it's just a safety thing. Are you having a good time? I didn't want him to be upset, so I wanted to be friendly. K. Yeah, it's so much fun. EP was watching this exchange from a distance. The kid walks back to them and she sternly said something to him. She gave me a really dirty glance, and I mean dirty. Then she turned back around like it never happened. Shortly afterwards, we were having a kids versus parents game. I decided to join the kids team to even the playing field. I ended up in a small bunker with K. He hit EP twice in the thigh. I laughed and gave him a high five. EP, to me, ow. Geez, why would you do that? That's not fair at all, you're like a freaking pro, and I never did this before. Learn some respect. Me. Respectfully, this is how the game is played, and you did know what you signed up for. Besides, it wasn't me who got you, it was kid's name over here. Please calm down. EP. Don't lie to me, this might be my first time, but I know more about it than you do. K. Mom, it was me, please stop yelling, it's just a game, I'm sorry I hurt you. EP. To kid. Oh my god, now you're all buddy-buddy with this jerk. At this point, EP took her mask off. I blew my whistle immediately and yelled ceasefire. F. To me. Hey, what's wrong? Me. Yeah, she took her mask off, I had to stop the game. F. To EP. Ma'am, you can't take your mask off mid-game, please follow me to the rest area. EP. To F. Don't tell me what to do. What are you gonna do, shoot me again? Yeah right, just leave me alone. EP put her mask back on and went back behind the tree. I guess she expected us to resume play and pretend she never got hit or, more importantly, never took her mask off. Also, the other kids and parents were starting to walk up to where the refs were, so there was quite a scene. I told everyone else to head back to the rest area and we would begin the next game shortly. F. Ma'am, I will get fired if I resume play right now, you've already taken your mask off and it's my job to take you back to the rest area. You will be able to join back in next game. EP. What difference does it make? Can you please just leave me alone now? F. Actually, no, I can't. I also really don't want to curse you out and force you down to the rest area in front of all your friends and your kids. Unless you want to be removed from the property and your son to come with you, I suggest you follow me. EP. Shut the hell up, I'm not scared of your crap, just go away and keep playing the game like jerks. Another parent comes up to console EP, asking us what happened. We told him exactly what just went down, but she disagreed. EP. They both shot me after I fell down, my mask fell off, and they almost hit my eye. The other parent seemed to be able to tell that she was lying, as he gave me a look that seemed to say, sorry, she's an absolute moron, and started to walk back down with the others. F. Oh come on, you're full of crap. Your son seems like he's having a good time, and the only reason I'm not dragging you off the property by your hair is because I don't want to ruin it for him. EP officially lost it. She was mad. She raised her marker and shot my friend 4 times, once in the groin and 3 times in the stomach. I grabbed her marker and ripped it out of her hands. EP. Ow. Why do you keep hurting me, you freaking idiot? I paid for all of this, quit being a craphead and start playing fair. Me. You just shot him for no reason other than you being a total piece of crap. Get out now before we have to call the police." My friend was now on the phone with the manager. Super cool manager basically told us that we should do whatever necessary to remove her from the field because she was a safety threat. That basically meant we could be physical and not get fired. Friend hangs up and turns back to EP. I'm giving you one last chance to act like a freaking adult before I start treating you like the witch you are. EP. How dare you? I give you my business and this is how you treat me, idiot. Funnily enough, she didn't pay for crap. The birthday boy's parents covered the prices for everyone. Have it your way then, craphead. My friend attempts to hold her arms behind her back and escort her back down the hill. She broke free and started trying to hit him. He responded by gently but firmly pushing her away and she slid about 6 feet down the hill. EP. First you shoot me, then you cut my hand, and now you freaking ruin my expensive jeans. Me. All of this could have been avoided if you acted like a damn adult. EP. I'm the freaking mature one here. Get off your high horse, idiot. I'm suing you all. Note that we weren't actually being super physical. We very much so could have been, but we took her threats of suing fairly seriously. Insurance stuff is really complicated for paintball fields, and a lawsuit would cause lots of problems, even if we won the case. She was really crying at this point. I don't think she realized that she had nowhere else to go but down the hill. Because we had to stop the game, she kept trying to break free and run back up. We eventually got her back down to the rest area. She had a nice long talk with the manager, who later told us he was trying not to laugh. He gave her a $20 off coupon just to shut her up. Little did she know it was expired. I felt bad for the kid, so I gave him a code for some free stuff from our website, which he redeemed a week later. It was just a t-shirt, special socks, a cool face mask, gloves, and some other stuff. Not much, but I wanted him to have something so he didn't feel too upset. In the end, me, my friend, and the manager had a good laugh over the whole thing. Me and F had to file a report stating what happened so that just in case she did sue us, we had official records of the event. We actually found her Twitter and she said that we caused irreparable trauma and that she would be taking immediate legal action. We never heard from anyone representing her. We did, however, get an email from the birthday boy's father who said she tends to be overdramatic and stubborn and that he apologizes for what she did. So last week, Kay came back to the field for an airsoft event and recognized me. He asked me if I ever posted the story anywhere and I said no. He told me to put it on Entitled Parents, so here I am. Thanks for reading. The kid sounds like a really cool guy. I feel sorry for him for having a mom like that. It's also quite rare for an entitled parent to have a non-entitled kid. Wow, I just realized I never posted this here. It was the first thing I ever wrote on here and I didn't really know that Entitled Parents has its own place at that time. So anyway, here it is. Maybe you guys will like it. When I was a baby, my parents rescued a dog from the animal shelter and named him Buddy. Buddy was half German Shepherd, half Golden Retriever. We called him our Golden Shepherd and he was the perfect family dog. As the years passed, our family grew fairly larger. My parents' religion encouraged lots of children, and Buddy saw each of us and our pet rabbits like his own puppies. He would let us snuggle with him and use him as a pillow, and I think he thought he was a human, since he would only walk on the sidewalk, only lay on blankets from our beds, and chasing a bowl or a stick was absolutely beneath him. What a quirky boy. This story takes place when I was 12 years old, so by our best guess, Buddy was at least 13. He was old, and all the kids in our family knew to give him space and treat him nicely, just like you would an old man. We had some new neighbors who didn't like us very much. They only had one 3-year-old daughter and one indoor cat, so our lots of kids, mostly boys, and indoor and outdoor dog were a bit too loud and dirty for them. They avoided us as much as possible, but occasionally their daughter would be outside playing at the same time we were, and we would invite her to play with us. On one day like this, my sister had Buddy on a leash in the front yard, drawing with sidewalk chalk with her friend. Buddy was just laying in the sunshine next to them. The little girl came out and asked if she could draw with chalk too, and of course my sister let her and didn't think anything bad could happen. The girl, being 3, draws for a bit, then runs off, comes back to draw some more, then runs off again, and my sister doesn't worry about her because she's just being a toddler. After a bit, this little girl tried to climb on Buddy's back like a horse. My sister stopped her and explained that Buddy is an old man and that hurts his back. The little girl nods and runs off. After a little while of everything going fine, the little girl running up to Color and running away, she tries to climb on his back again. My sister again corrected her, explaining that that hurts Buddy and we don't want to hurt him, so please don't climb on his back. The little girl says okay and runs off. This time my sister moved to a different spot, a little ways away from where the girl was playing, and after a while, stopped paying attention to where she was. This time the girl came back and climbed on Buddy's back a third time. Just as my sister noticed her and started to say something, Buddy growled. The growl startled the little girl and she lost her balance, fell off and hit her face on the sidewalk. When my sister took her to her house to get her parents, they were convinced Buddy bit her. They wouldn't listen to my sister's story and insisted the scrape on the daughter's cheek was a dog bite, even though it was clearly a wide sidewalk scrape, not teeth marks. Buddy had no history of biting, even though he was always surrounded by kids, and my sister was there when it happened and saw the whole thing. I even rushed outside to see what all the yelling was about, saw the scrape and saw Buddy just sitting there with his head down like he thought he was in trouble. Poor old dog wouldn't hurt a fly. In a dramatic to-do, they rushed their daughter to the hospital and got her cheek bandaged up, remember it was just a scrape, but okay, and sought out a military police officer with experience working with attack dogs who told them once a German Shepherd tastes blood, they will never stop trying to kill that person. They came to us that night and demanded we put our dog down because he will try to kill their daughter. My dad was very reasonable and understood their fear, so he said he would talk to the family and get back to them. When he told us they wanted us to kill our dog, we all started crying and hugging Buddy and begging Dad not to do it. My dad was a big softy, but could be fiercely protective of his family. If anyone made us cry, it was all over. The next day he told the neighbors he believed my sister that the dog did not bite their daughter and he was just old and trying to protect himself from being hurt by her again. They did not take this well, and from then on, they would call their daughter inside whenever they saw us, with or without the dog, and tried spreading gossip about us with the other neighbors. Everyone else liked us though, so that didn't go anywhere. Long story short, the mean neighbors moved and Buddy lived to the ripe old age of at least 17. He died after a long battle with cancer on my 16th birthday. I went with my dad to put him down and put an end to his suffering. I didn't want him to feel abandoned on the last day of his life when he had always been such a good dog. But he sounds like a dream dog. Glad you got to have him throughout your childhood. What a wonderful friend a dog can be. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. I'm crying in recollection as I'm typing this, so please don't bash me for any spelling errors, I'll get around to them when I clear my head. I remember this super vividly. Lots of tears were shed this day, as my family had lost our matriarch, my great-grandmother of 104. The family was torn to shreds last weekend, WKND of the 8th of November 2019, so nonsense like this wasn't expected. A bit of backstory, my dad's family is full of many different ethnic groups. My aunts and uncles live all over the world, so they've married accordingly. However, this EM and EK, about in their mid-40s and late 10s respectively, figured their emotions were more important than that of my own. I've always been close to my grandparents on my dad's side, and that hasn't changed, even when my mom, 52, and dad, 61, divorced, and I moved to Texas. Setting of the story is in my hometown of Wichita, Kansas. We've gone through a ton of losses since I was little. My great-grandmother as of late, her daughter, my dad's mother, back on February 8 of 2017, and my gramps, who I wasn't old enough to remember. I've had my fair share of funerals, and if it wasn't seen as disrespectful, I would much rather mourn in secret. Yet every funeral I've gone to, my father has always saved me a seat in the front pews near him, so that I'm not lost in the sea that is my dad's side of the family. Mostly also, since I usually call myself being a soldier, when he finally breaks down, it helps that I'm there to comfort him. Last funeral, his mom's, was the worst of these. He didn't even want to go back to his resident state, TN, but instead, wanted to live in their old house with his little sister, my aunt, for the rest of his days, because that's where she last was. Needless to say, knowing his parents and now grandparents were both gone, he was sputtering and bawling, and just would not stop. That's jumping a bit too far, so let's take it back to when everyone was filing into the chapel. I, naturally, took my spot next to my father in the first row of pews, preparing for tons of tears. I was taking a moment to myself to breathe, calming myself down. I was getting anxious and was about to have an anxiety attack when EK, and begrudgingly ND, nice dad, one of my married uncles, walk up to me. I stand to give them a hug and some blessings as normal, then go to sit down. Suddenly though, grabs my arm and holds me in suspension. Her nails are cutting into me a bit, but I don't say very much about it. I was an adventurous kid, a few scrapes and bruises never hurt, so her cat claws for damn sure weren't going to do a thing. Excuse me. Where do you think you're going? Indirect family sits toward the back. I was appalled. Multiple scenarios of me hanging about my great-grandmother's, from now on as Big Granny, house and playing with Legos until my dad came home from work filling my mind. I clear my throat. This was helping none with my anxiety attack, by the way. Sorry, I don't think I understand. I'm Big Granny's first generation of great-grandbabies, this is my seat. Same as my dad, her grandbaby, is reserved this seat. Scoffing, I don't see your name on it, kid. Move out of the way. Don't you know to respect your elders? Stammering an anxious rebuttal. Acting like this doesn't make you any more of an elder as it makes me. You don't see me telling Big Granny's great-great-great-grandchildren not to chew gum or play on their mom and dad's phones instead, do you? Baffled by my talking back, trying her best not to raise her voice. I've known Big Granny for years. You've never around, there's no way a jerkspin like you was reserved a seat here. I doubt she even remembered you. I'm nearly to tears at this point. Not only did she insult me, but she tried to tack on some guilt to make me feel even worse for having to live with my mother under custody. My mom didn't even want me to come to the funeral. I look over, and they're carrying Big Granny in, preparing to start. I begin to whisper, fighting the tears of confrontation, as well as seeing Big Granny's coffin. I'm sure that Granny wouldn't want someone calling her great-grandchild a jerkspin. It's time to be respectful. EK butts in, trying to put in her own 2 cents. EK. Accusingly, she's right you know. Big Granny loved me more cause I was around, we deserve to see her first. Now move, jerk. In classic black mom fashion, gives the back of her head a small smack, hush up, stay out of grown folks' conversation. Turning back to me, but she's right. We've been around more, so these are our seats. Move it. My dad, turning from his wife to tune in, stands up, his light-skinned face turning beet red in anger. He looked as if he was going to pop his eyeballs out. ND, take your wife to the back. Big Granny is here, there is no time to be disrespectful. Excuse me. I have as much right to be here with EK to honor our great-grandmother as much as she d. My dad was having none of it. Get out. What? Leave the chapel. Go away. You're bringing negative energy to a serious situation. Leave. Now. His outburst brought a ton of attention, I was nearly to tears, and it wasn't even because they'd opened her casket for viewing. EK, and ND start to walk out, and EK are beet red and bawling. I grab ND and shake my head. You deserve to see her, you weren't a part of this. ND, that's nice. I've been trying to turn her out for a while now. Lawyer said to be cordial and all. My dad smiled knowingly. You'd better hope you get EK and train her right. It seems her mother isn't there for her, rather just to flaunt relevance over everyone else, it's not the way to go. Come sit, let's scoot over, Calypso. I oblige and everything goes as normal. The funeral service was amazing, it wasn't depressing, the pastor made some nice points, some good laughs, and brought back some really fond memories. One thing from the funeral I was told to repeat for anything in the future. Let not your heart be troubled. Thanks for reading. Sunrise, December 18, 1915. Sunset, November 2, 2019. Gone, but never forgotten. She watched the world change before her eyes and brought up a family worthy of continuing her legacy. May she rest in peace, reunited with her family now past. Say hello to Gramps, little Granny, Grammy and Pawpaw, Uncle and Mrs. Johnson for me. We miss you all. I'm so sorry for your loss. This story absolutely moved me. No one should have to deal with entitled people at a funeral, especially when you have lost someone you deeply care about. Guys, if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about how my dad's parents and sister hated him and tried to take our house from us, so it all went to court. Check it out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.